we're jumping into a cyberpunk world, and not one we talked about too much.
Well done. Look at the tank on the right. I'm opening an air vent next to it.
Nate, we jumped into Foreclosed. Dude, this is such a unique cyberpunk experience. Parts of me loved it, and parts of me absolutely hated this game. I'm not gonna hide anything here. The overall story, I think, is so cool. You have this chip implanted in you, and it's all about everybody gets this chip, but yet your chip is certainly special and unique into what the cyber tech behind it all kind of is. And there's a lot of manipulation and things like that. I don't want to spoil the story because that's one of the highlights of this game is the story. The story, I'll be right honest, is awesome. The ending fell a little flat for me, but the main story of all kind of unfolded, I thought was really, really well done. And it is done in this cyberpunk neon comic book style that was just incredible, and how that kind of portrays to unfolding the story as well with your tiles, bouncing between one tile to the next tile and how that unfolds. It kind of reminded me of Comic Zone from back in the day. There's a shout out for you. Man, dude, it was so cool, but we definitely had one massive problem, and that comes down to the gunplay. Dude, this is one of the worst controls I have ever experienced when it comes to playing a game. Trying to shoot anything was awful. That's my perspective. How did you feel, Nate?
Well, man, honestly, I share very much of the same opinion as you, where you have your scene portrayed in one tile, and then all of a sudden it expands to 3 to 4 different tiles throughout this entire scene. And it's just very cool. Like you kind of mentioned earlier, the colors and just the graphic style of it itself is also a highlight, in my opinion, of this. But man, we have got to talk about the gunplay. They give you only 2 options in the options for your controllers, and there are 2 sensitivity options. One is for aiming, and well, let me think. That's the only one. You can't do it when you're just looking around. There's no vertical and horizontal access sliders. It's just one sensitivity, and you can have it as low as you want. But my goodness, it's like I barely touch my thing and it just lunges across the screen. And this takes away from the experience so much.
Dude, it just completely ruined the game for me. That's the biggest part, right? I loved the story. I loved the art style. The art style and that comic book presentation behind it, I thought was incredible. But the minute it goes to gunplay and gameplay mechanics, I wanted to quit the game. Now, I wrapped up the game in only a matter of, I'd say, 4 hours, maybe 5, probably closer to 4, I'm being honest. And it's just, man, I had to fight through the gunplay. As you talked about, right, you're looking for sliders because the minute you touch your analog stick, dude, you're on the other side of the screen looking backwards. I'm like, holy crap. So I dialed it right down. I cranked up the auto aim assist, and even that didn't help, dude. Well, Nate, I'm ready to foreclose this game. I'm done. Although the story was so gripping and the art style was incredible, that gameplay really knocked the crap out of my score, unfortunately. If they could fix that gunplay mechanic, dude, that would enhance the score so much. But for me, I can't even recommend anybody playing this game just because it's so irritating, the amount of sway you get with the gun and unloading your bullets, and then the abilities are just a mindless upgrade. For me, dude, I'm there with a 4.5.
Well, man, I agree with you on all those points. I'm gonna be a little more forgiving. I can only recommend this to the very diehard, cyberpunk fans that can, pain through the gameplay, just because this story is so cool and I really like the graphics. So for me, buddy, I'm gonna have to give this one a 5.
Nice.
A beautiful cyberpunk setting with a gripping story isn't enough to hold up against the lackluster gameplay.